Okay guys, we're back. Once again, just so any guys are new, the camera is mounted to my head on a ball cap. So all I got to do is reach up here to press a button, and it beeps when it starts and it stops. So I don't have to take my eyes off the road or anything. Come on, people. No place to merge for them guys. That guy's just going to have to get in behind me, because I need to right lane. Try to get my cruise control set right here. The first opportunity to get it set to 65. And then there's a lot of hills up here once you get on 74 West, and they're long enough that it's kind of nice to have the cruise set, you know, at maximum speed, so you can just hit the button and let it haul you up the hill. Kind of weird. This truck will only go 63 miles an hour using my foot, but it'll go 65 on the cruise control. So it gets kind of annoying, because if you're rolling flat, then you got to press the Excel button to get up to 65. So if I get a little bit of a downhill grade, I like to get the cruise set. Otherwise you're sitting here holding your thumb on that stupid button for ever. Like now, I'm only going 55, but I can hit that resume button, and I can just roll along on, let the cruise control do the throttling. I wouldn't do it right there normally, because people are always trying to merge in, but that's what my point was, that basically from now for a while it's going to be all uphill. It's just better to get the cruise control set while I have the chance. Of course, it doesn't remember it. Every truck I've ever owned before, it remembered what you set the cruise control at, even if you turned the truck off. This truck doesn't. You shut the truck off, turn it back on, it doesn't remember anything. Just a little weird idiosyncrasies, you know, between makes and models. Sometimes you just, you know, what were they thinking? Oh, another example, like, got this big ass display down here, digital display. It doesn't tell you anything. It tells you the mileage, tells you that your cruise control's on, and if there's some kind of problem, you get a triangle light on the dash, and the display down there just says warn engine, like warning without the ing on the end. It doesn't tell you what it is. Doesn't tell you anything about what the problem is. It just says, hey, there's a problem. Can't look through the codes. Not, you know, the Volvo I used to drive, it would say warning, such and such error. Here's the code number. Sometimes it would even tell you what it was. And you could always do a diagnostic, right? You know, you'd have to be sitting. You could do a diagnostic, and it would tell you what the problem is. EGR code. Well, you know, this one will tell you if the coolant's low and if the washer fluid's low, but that's it. I just can't figure out why they put such a big display down there. And they don't put anything, just nothing, doesn't display anything. No. Even though this is only a 3-pocket trailer, it's still reasonably heavy. It's still 49,000 in the trailer, and we never going up to through Indiana. We don't haul more than 49,000 usually, because there's a scale we got to go over here. You can legally haul, I can probably legally haul 50 or 51,000, but because it's powder and it kind of moves around in the trailer, what can happen is if you get really close to gross weight, and we're probably at 78,000 gross right now, you get it to 79 or 79,500. The problem is if some of the product moves to the front, you can end up 800 pounds overweight on the drive axle or the trailer or whatever. So they try to keep the weight down a little bit. I've had it over 400 or 500 pounds before and be well under gross weight. Usually they just wave it through because they know it's a tanker and they know it's powder or liquid and it moves. So they kind of, with us, they kind of look at the gross weight more than the axle weight because they know the product moves around. What the hell they're building over there? Oh, well, probably I can read the sign. It says Mercy Hospital West, opening 2013. That's probably what they're building over there. What do you guys think? Oh, man. Here's your sign. Oh, fucking come on. This part's kind of annoying because you're constantly going up a gear, down a gear. From here on out, it's, wow, there's one little bad spot, but comes an old 50 Chevy, red, coming up on our left. 55. I think. So not too much has been going on. Past week I had to go to Wisconsin twice, and seven-hour drive each way. If you don't hit any traffic in Chicago, it's a 7-hour drive. Load pays pretty good, but dealing with Chicago traffic and can't get home because it's 7 hours one way, and then it's about 3 hours back to where I normally park. South of Gary, Indiana, there's a truck stop, and I park there. That puts me 4 hours from home. So it ends up being a good 10 or 11 hours of driving that day, and then you got 4 hours the next day to get home, and sometimes they put a load on you, sometimes they don't. I did that twice this week. I ran up there on Monday, came back on Tuesday. They didn't have anything for me, so it was kind of nice. I had the rest of Tuesday off, and then went back up on Wednesday, came back on Thursday, and thought I was going to have a third one. But when I got back to Cincinnati, the guy, somebody else had already taken it. The because he was sitting waiting for a load. So I got to go home again last night, and then I was supposed to run this Rochester load. My plan was to be up there at like 8 o'clock in the morning. I was going to leave at like 4, and then try to get home early. And then my wife told me that she had something to do today anyway, so don't rush. So I slept in a little bit. Figuring I'd get home about 2:30 or 3. Got up to the shipper, and they told me they were broke down. So it's always something in this business. One of the annoying factors is that somewhat inconsistent. I mean, it's nice, I'm home, but the hours are different every day. You never know what the hell you're doing till that's the end of the day for the next day, and it can be a bit frustrating sometimes. I've told my wife several times that, you know, I feel like the mouse being tempted by the cheese. You head out in the morning, and there's somewhat of a plan. You know, go up to General Motors and drop this, and you'll be back in 6 hours or so. Have a nice short day, and then have the rest of the day to do what you want. And then when you get done, they tell you, "Oh, we need you to go do something else," and there goes your day. You know, and so that happens a lot. And like I said, you kind of feel like the mouse, you know, and the company's, you know, dangling the cheese in front of you. Oh, it's going to be a nice, easy day today. You're going to get to go home. You know, and then at the last minute, oh, sorry, you know, your truck broke down. Oh, sorry, the load's got to get there by tomorrow. Oh, sorry, such and such happened. It's just always something. And then inevitably on the day when you do actually get home early, it rains that day or some bullshit. And the weather, you know, it's just, when you add all up the uncertainties in life and trucking and the bulk business in particular, what you find is that you don't really have that much free time that's actually usable to go do anything. You know, I sometimes I'll do a GM load, you know, and I'll be up there at 6 in the morning, which means I'll be home at like 10 o'clock in the morning, or maybe noon at the latest, and you're like, oh, cool, I'll have the rest of the afternoon to go ride a motorcycle or go do whatever, and then you tell you, oh, the next load's got to be up there at, you know, 2 in the morning, which means that I now need to go home and try to go to sleep at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Yeah, right. You know, it's just, you know, maybe I sound like I'm whining and bitching, but in some ways I actually preferred driving over the road where, you know, you went out, you drove your 10 or 11 hours, you parked, took your 10-hour break, next day you got up, you did it again. You know, there was no expectation of being home or being able to do anything. And so when it did happen, it was, you know, kind of cool. This job's kind of the other way around, where they hired you as a home every day driver, so your expectation is that you might actually be able to get home and do something every day, and most of the time you can't. I don't know, that's almost worse in some ways. But the money's not bad. You know, I make more than I did driving regional over the road, and I am home most nights. So, you know, when thousands of people don't have jobs, it's kind of hard to really seriously complain about having a job that pays decent. So, you always got to take that in mind. And just so you know, I am supposed to be in the middle lane here in the construction. The sign back there said trucks use left lane. Well, I don't like to use that one because most people in cars don't read those signs and can't figure out why you're in the high-speed lane and what they see as the high-speed lane. So I try to stay in the middle. Well, guys, I'm sitting right on 15 minutes again. I'll do what I did the last time and save the third part for Indianapolis. And maybe do the fourth part backing up to the silo like I did the last time. Again, I really wish I could film the unloading process, but I'm not allowed to. So most of the places I go won't allow it. Anyway, gotta go. Be safe out there, guys. See ya.